Nowadays, many Romani people community activists are very much trying to change the image of themselves to portray a more correct image of themselves, and are therefore also using the word Roma, which is what they use to call themselves in their language, and using that label to designate them is a token of that appreciation of who they are. They have a culture and history of their own, which deserves to be recognized.
Would it be overcooking the comparison to say that though that they were and always have been regarded as outsiders in various European societies and were treated in very similar ways to the way Jews were treated?
That's completely true, yes, absolutely. They had also the disadvantage of not having any formal institutions or literacy or things that the Jewish populations did have and were recognized. So even despite the persecution that Jews suffered, majority society always acknowledged that they had a history of their own, institutions of their own, a code of practice, a religion, of course, and a tradition of literacy and scholarship. And all of those are things that the Romani people don't have. The Jews also maintain some kind of emotional, literary, and religious awareness of a country of origin, which the Romani people don't usually have. I mean, nowadays, most Romani people are aware of the connection with India, but it's just quite abstract. It doesn't have any relevance to their day-to-day lives. There's no Romani movement trying to resettle Roma to India and claim a territory there or anything of that kind. So yes, they have remained marginalized over the centuries, and largely because they don't control and never aspire to control their own territory. And it's quite ironic because the one people in Europe that has never declared war on anybody else, never tried to control anybody else from entering their borders, or never trying to expel anybody from their borders, is the one that has been the weakest and the most vulnerable throughout European history.
So is the way, the way, for instance, it is very much for Irish people, it's a big thing, where are you from? To Roma, is that less important?
It's important in the immediate sense, because people have lived in different places, and we have many Romani populations that have been in the same area and the same region for centuries. So yes, it is relevant because the Roma have to maintain their own culture, but they're also very much immersed in the cultures that surround them. They have words from the surrounding languages in their own language. They have customs that they share with neighboring populations, and especially those who do have itinerant trades and occupations, they are very much dependent on their network of contacts, which are regional. So they do actually have a very, very strong sense of regional identity, indeed. But they don't lay a claim. Nobody says this territory, this region belongs to us, and nobody else is allowed to settle there. That mentality has never existed among the Romani people, and in that sense, they don't have a territory that they can call their own.
How do they regard this, if you like, the non-Romani people around them? Do they feel a sense of antagonism towards them, given that relations haven't been happy, to put it mildly?
Well, there's certainly a sense of suspicion, absolutely, which, however, is usually overcome at the individual level. It's not an obstacle to making friends with Romani people, or having Romani people work alongside and live alongside people who are not Romani. But there are various values. There is, for instance, a very strong code of practice within the Romani community, and rules about cleanliness, what sort of food you're allowed to cook and how, what you're allowed to wash and how, in what way. And these are things that are very, very important for them, and there is fear that social immersion with people who do not follow those rules might lead to some kind of defilement in the spiritual sense. Nobody thinks that it's the physical cleanliness of something. But for example, clothes that you wear in the upper body are not washed together with clothes that you wear in the lower body. And somebody who doesn't observe that it basically goes against the customs of the community, and then things like that are very important for the more traditional Romani communities. Not everybody abides by them, but those who are more traditional do, and that also imposes a kind of a cultural boundary. Yes.
Yeah, do they have a sense, though, that, and I did mention this in the introduction, that, you know, and I know there's a big debate about this in France at the moment, there is one to a certain degree here too, that people have this perception that Roma people come and then they just live on the social welfare, or they're, you know, they're involved in a lot of criminality. Is there a sense that the kind of the rules and the conventions of the society they live within don't really apply to them?
There's a sense that the protection, the rules that society has had that give members of society protection do not apply to Roma, so that the Roma are exempted from the protection that social order gives to other citizens, and therefore disadvantaged. And that is primarily the perception, not that Roma are exempted from rules because they want to be, but because they're not accepted. So in other words, society practices exclusion against the Roma, and therefore it's very difficult for Roma to aspire toward inclusion. A precondition for inclusion is that exclusive practices, exclusionary practices, are abandoned. And the Roma have, over the years, had no control over how majority relates to them.
Yeah, we have to leave it there, Yaron. Thank you very much for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
That's Yaron Matras. He's the author of I Met Lucky People. We're going to take a break after that. How do you do an exorcism via Skype?
Moncrief, brought to you by CPL Fuels and its home fire range of superior solid fuels. Better value, better performance, and better for the environment.
There's never been a better time for your family to switch to VHI Healthcare, because now all kids under 18 go half price with our great value one plan family. So not only can you enjoy all the benefits you'd expect from Ireland's leading health insurer, your family can make big savings too. So switch today and find out why so many people are glad they're with VHI Healthcare. Call 1890 444444 or visit vhi.ie. VHI Healthcare. When you need us, we're there. This half-price offer is available to customers who purchase between the 28th of December 2013 and the 28th of February 2014. Terms and conditions apply.
Visit the BrandonHouseHotel.ie and feel the love at the heart of the Southeast. Why? Because we're giving away a break for 15, yes, you heard us, 15 people simply by logging on. Organize a business conference, take the whole family away, or even bring your own rugby team for the Six Nations. Except the manager, of course. So what are you waiting for? Enter now at BrandonHouseHotel.ie, the home of soulful hospitality. Terms and conditions apply.
With Siemens, less is more. More Siemens built to last quality, innovative design, state-of-the-art technology, and exceptional energy efficiency for less. Because right now, you can get up to €100 off selected Siemens freestanding home appliances, many with a full 5-year warranty. Terms and conditions apply. Visit Siemens Home Appliances for details. Siemens, the future moving in. Listen in close. Ireland's biggest used van dealer is now open in Dublin. Van Monster sells only the best ex-fleet vehicles from